If you've been watching Utah real estate and what's happening with prices in the market, you'll know that we're going through a very interesting time. Here in the next couple of months, we're going to go through the winter seasonality where we generally expect things to slow down, but we have seen some information and recent changes that could stop that entirely. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about Utah real estate right here, right now. We're going to take a look at some different data sets and actually show you what you need to know whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Utah. And we're going to jump into it right now. So what's going on, you guys? My name is Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. If you're here to the channel for the first time, I want to welcome you. We talk about everything you need to know about Utah real estate, as well as what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, and play here along the Wasatch Front. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for your participation in this journey, and thank you for watching another one of my videos. All right, so let's jump into my screen here. We're going to take a look at some information here. If you followed any of my other videos or you've watched them, you'll see this, the screen here. This is going to be very similar to what we've seen in the past. And I want to point out the month of October because we do have some new data here. I'm filming this on Friday, November 3rd. So by the time you see this, it'll be a couple days old. But we finally have closed out the month of October. We had 2,675 home sales. That's what's shown right here underneath the count, which is down from September. If we compare this to last year, we had 2,680. So almost the exact same number of sales across the Wasatch Front here based on this data set. If we come over here to the median original list price, that's this column right here, you'll see that the median original list price was $500,000, and on average, or at least on a median basis, homes were selling for $486,000. So this is down slightly from what we saw in September, which definitely feels accurate based on what I saw in the market. I'm out there every single day showing homes, talking to buyers, talking to sellers who want to sell their home, and this is the type of information that I'm seeing, and I think we're actually going to continue on this path so long as things don't change in a drastic way, but they possibly could. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. So the median original list price at $500,000 and sales prices at $486,000. Now this represents a 3% change based on a percentage from the median sales price to the original listing price. So you can see how that's fluctuated here. If we go back here to March of 2022, and let's just even say the summer of last year, March we're at 104%, which means that homes were selling above what they were listed for. We saw 104, 103, and then by June we really started to see it level off and then actually invert and go the other direction. So by July, homes were selling for less than they were actually listed for. However, it did take a while for those listing prices to actually come down. From July through the month of November, listing prices really did not change. We were at 525 in June, 520 right here, and then again still at 520 in November. It wasn't until December and January that we really started to see those numbers come down. Since that time, we've now seen it continue to actually rebound a little bit, right? We got down here to like 490 in January, but now we've been sitting right around that number for the last, almost basically the last year, right? We were at 490, went to 496, 501. This listing price number has not changed. If we look at the number of sales that are happening or where sales are happening, sales prices were at 480 in March, 475 here in April, 490, and they've actually been climbing, right? So the listing prices have stayed the same, but sales prices have actually inched closer to this, listing price on an average basis, right? If we were looking at homes in November, December, January of last year, you could get a home for roughly 6, 7, 8% off of the listing price during that time. But over the last couple months, it has not been as drastic as that. We've been sitting, roughly 1, 2, maybe 3% off that original price in most cases. Now, that's not going to pertain to every home. Of course, some homes are still going to be extremely competitive. They're going to get multiple offers and sell for above the listing price. And other homes are going to sit on the market for a very long time, go through numerous price drops, and then end up selling for a drastic, much smaller number than what they're originally listed for. So that's something that's very interesting to look at. We're going to take a look at inventory here, and then we're also going to take a look at the factor that could change all of this here in just a second. Before we do that, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate here in Utah, please reach out to me. My team and I service the entire state, whether you're looking in northern Utah or southern Utah. We'd love to be your resource of choice when it comes to that process. I've helped hundreds of people relocate here, as well as tons of people who live here already who are looking to buy or sell or even invest in real estate. I'm an investor myself, and I love helping people through that journey. So if you're in a situation where you're looking to make a move here in the next couple months, I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. Please reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. My information will be here on the screen. And with that said, let's take a look at some inventory numbers. Okay, so coming over here, let's actually take a look at some of the inventory numbers that we've seen over the past couple of years. So this chart right here, this is the active listing supply. This shows you how the listings have fluctuated seasonally, but as well as over a period of time, right? So this is going back all the way to 2017 for the month of April. So we saw listings come down. This is kind of like the winter time. April is actually like roughly right here. We see listings go up to almost 10,000. Then they come back down to just over 6,000, up to, over 10,000. You can kind of see this, how it's changed, right? During the pandemic, 2020 to 2022, we saw inventory levels at incredibly low levels, right? We came all the way down here to almost 2,000 active listings, which is just crazy. Even during the winter months, we were only hitting 4,000 when we normally hit 10,000. Since then, during 2022 and into 2023, we saw listings come up substantially. We're sitting just above 10,000, which is actually in the normal range for what we normally expect to see during this time of year. And here in October, we're sitting roughly in that same number. So listings and inventory in the market has been climbing, and this is an important thing because you have to really factor in how many homes are listed on the market, because that determines the demand and the competition that's out there in the market. If there's lots of listings sitting on the market, then that means that their demand is low, which is in fact true because of interest rates, but also that is an indicator of how much competition is actually out there in the market. Now, one thing you do have to consider is, over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, think about how many homes have been built that now could potentially be considered inventory on the market, right? They've probably built 100,000 houses, I would guess, across the northern Utah over the past 4, 5, 6 years. So that's an additional 100,000 homes or units, condos, townhomes, single family homes, multifamily homes that could be listed as inventory. So the fact that we're still sitting right here around 10,000 is actually not too concerning to me. I would actually expect to be closer to 11 or 12,000 if we were in a normal market based on how many housing units actually exist out there in the market, right? Just based on population and the number of homes that are out there. So for right now, where the active listing number is at, it's actually not too concerning. I do expect us to see that number will continue to climb going into the winter, but there are going to be some very important things that you have to consider, because if inventory numbers increase, that means there's more competition, more homes for buyers to choose from, and that could actually drive prices down because you're going to have a portion of those homes that sit on the market and don't come down in price. Now, the one caveat to all of this, which is really going to turn, potentially turn that seasonality upside down, is going to be interest rates. Let's jump over here to my screen here and take a look at interest rates. So we've talked about this here on the channel before, but starting in about June, or let's even go back to April of this year, we had interest rates in the low 6% range. Since that time, they've basically been climbing pretty steadily over the past 6 months or so, and they recently hit 8%. This month of October, rates have just been absolutely crazy. Going from 6% to 8% is actually a huge difference. I'm going to show you an example here in just a second. We hit 8% here on this, just in the last couple of weeks, but if we zoom in here, you can actually see this sharp drop off over the last couple of days, right? So I'm filming this here on a Friday evening. We had Monday, October 30th, which is the start of the week. We're at, just under 8%, and it's fallen drastically down here to 7.38%. So 0.6% over the last 5 days is absolutely crazy. And that's actually going to make a very big difference in what you can expect to pay, for your mortgage and what you're going to pay in interest. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's take a look at this information here. I just pulled up a general mortgage calculator. Now this is based off of a 30-year fixed loan. We're going to do a $500,000 loan amount at a 6% interest rate, right? Because I just talked about how interest rates were roughly 6% back at the beginning of April. Let's zoom this out here a little bit. See, we've got April, a little bit too much. April right here. Of the beginning of the spring, we're at 6%, right? So if you're at 6% on your interest rate and you're borrowing $500,000, you're going to pay roughly $3,000 for your monthly payment. That's going to be your monthly payment for the loan as well as the interest, right? This is not taxes or insurance or any of that. Now, let's say we go this, bump this up to 7%. Wow, your payment jumps up to $33.27. If we go up to 8%, your payment for that same exact loan amount jumps up to $3,669. So you're paying almost an additional $675 for the same loan amount on a home, right? So that extra $700, in order to keep your payment the same as what it would have been in that 6% range, you now have to drop your loan amount probably to about $430, maybe, I would guess. No, even lower than that, $410. Let's see. Yeah, $410 brings you back down to that $3,000 monthly payment. So your loan amount has to decrease by $90,000 because the interest rate went up by 2%. Not only that, but now you're paying additional interest towards the loan every time you make a payment. So you kind of get hit in two ways because of the rising interest rates. However, if for buyers, there is, kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully, anyway, hopefully we do see some changes here. If we zoom in a little bit further, we went from, roughly 8%. Let's go back here and change this back to 500,000. Now you're at 500,000, you're at 8%, you're at $3,700 payment, but now we're coming back down to 7.4, which is $34.62. So now this does change a little bit. Let's go like 450. Yeah, so we're almost back to $440 on your loan amount to get roughly a $3,000 payment. So you were at $410, you were at $500,000 when at the 6% interest rate. It came down to $410 for a $3,000 monthly payment at 8% interest rate, and now we're at 7.4%. So now you could bring that loan amount up to $440, right? So you can get an extra $30,000 of buying power with how rates have adjusted over the last couple of days. So this is great news. If you're a buyer in the market, there's opportunity. I think we could actually see prices continue to come down over the next couple months as those higher rates really take hold on the market, and as we start to see seasonality. And if interest rates continue to come down, even if we get under 7% down into the low 6% range, this could actually create a great opportunity for buyers in the market. So I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody knows for sure if that's going to happen, but if you want to get prepared for that market and you're looking at relocating here or you already live here, please call, text, or email anytime. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. I cannot wait to hear from you and hear your story and how I can help you. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one.